Hi Year 7, it's Mr. Street, and today we're going to go through word equations together. So by the end of this lesson, you'll be able to identify reactants and products in word equations, and you're going to be able to write word equations to represent chemical reactions. Before we start though, make sure you've got a pen and a piece of paper, so if you haven't, pause this now and go and get one, and then we can carry on with the do now task. So your do now task is, when making a cake, there are ingredients and an end product, which is a cake. So on the left-hand side of your page, I want you to write all the ingredients you need to make a cake. So I'll start you off with one. So flour and then you carry on putting the ingredients. And on the right-hand side, you put the product, which is a cake. So I want you to do that now. Write all of them down, and I'll see you back in a couple of minutes. So pause it, and I'll see you back here in a couple of minutes. Okay, how did you get on? Hopefully you managed to get lots of ingredients down. So I've got some ingredients just down here. So I've got some eggs and some flour and some butter. Definitely not chocolate. I'm going to make a beautiful strawberry cake. So I'd have different ingredients from that. So let's see what I've got. Okay, so when we're doing word equations, we use an arrow. So we don't use an equal sign, we use an arrow, and that means it reacts to form. So there's my arrows, and then on the left-hand side, I put my reactants, so my ingredients, and there you go. I've got eggs and flour and milk and butter and sugar, and they all react to form a cake. So that's how simple word equations are, but we're just going to put chemicals either side. So chemicals, so our reactants, and when they react, what do they form? So let's have a look at the first ones. So chemical reactions start with substances called reactants, and they'll react together to make a product. So on here you can see we've got iron filings and sulfur, and when they're heated up, they react to form one product, which is iron sulfide. And you can see they don't look like each other because they've carried out a chemical reaction. But how would we write that? So the word equation, so ready to write this down, for the reaction of iron and sulfur is, let me just move my face out of the way, iron plus sulfur reacts to form, with the arrow, reacts to form iron sulfide. So that is the word equation for that reaction. So pretty simple. And all I've done is I've had a little look here. So in the reaction of iron and sulfur, so the reaction iron and sulfur, which is down on here, and there's one product called iron sulfide. So here's another one. When methane is burned in oxygen, it produces a gas, carbon dioxide, and water. So I want you to have a little look at that and see if you can decide what the reactants are and what the products are, and see if you can work out what the word equation is. So pause this now and have a little go and come back in a minute. Okay, well, hopefully I helped you out a little bit, because I've highlighted in yellow specifically things that you might need to use, and I've put the arrow there to reacts to form. So let's have a little look. So methane and oxygen, which are the reactants, methane plus oxygen reacts to form carbon dioxide and water. So here you go, my reactants are here in red, and in blue are my products. So hopefully you got that. If not, write it down. Quickly write it down now, pause it, so we can have that word equation in your books or on your paper. Let's move on to the next one. So here you go. I'll move my face out of the way again. So magnesium burns in air. So it's a silver strip of metal, and it burns in air. And a big, bright, white light. And it reacts with oxygen. And the product is magnesium oxide. So if we have a look here we've got some magnesium. Here we've got some oxygen. And here's some magnesium oxide. And we've got our word equation. Magnesium plus oxygen reacts to form magnesium oxide. So here, so it's the transferring of energy to the surroundings. So that's the chemical reaction. So we're going to have a little go at this now. So you're going to try and highlight what we're looking for in our reactants and what our products are. So methane gas burns in oxygen to produce carbon dioxide and water. So pause this now and see if you can find out the products and the reactants. And what we're going to do is you're going to submit these to your teacher on a piece of paper, and then your teacher can mark them. So pause it and off you go. Okay, how did you get on there? Hopefully you managed to get them down. Let's move on to the other one, another one. We've got a few of these to go through. So lead nitrate reacts with potassium iodide. This produces a yellow solid called lead iodide and a clear liquid called potassium nitrate. So you need to have a look in there to see what products are reacting, what our reactants are, and then what the products are. So pause now and write that down. Okay, how did you get on? Hopefully that was another good one and you're starting to get the hang of this. Now, in a car, when the engine is started, enough energy is transferred to combine nitrogen from the air with oxygen to form nitrogen dioxide. So remember to put your reactants on the left and your products on the right, and the arrow to say reacts to form. So pause now and do that one. Okay, welcome back. Let's go on to the other one. We've got a few more of these left. To make sodium chloride, one possible method is to react hydrochloric acid and sodium hydroxide together. This reaction also produces water. So you need to really read this one. So to make sodium chloride, one possible method is to react hydrochloric acid and sodium hydroxide together. The reaction also produces water. So pause now and write that down. Okay, couple more to go. Keep going. So, often during an experiment, we find that a gas is produced. An example of this is the production of hydrogen when a metal such as magnesium reacts with an acid such as hydrochloric acid. In this reaction, magnesium chloride and hydrogen will be produced. So identify your reactants, identify your products, and do your word equation. Pause now. Okay, so we've got one more left. The colour of fireworks comes from the reaction of different metals with oxygen. The production of magnesium oxide gives a bright white colour. This comes from the reaction between magnesium and oxygen. Heat energy is needed for this to happen. So, a reaction's happening, but what are the reactants and what are the products? I want you to make sure you've got all of those written down, and I want you to take a photograph of it and upload it to Google Classroom so your teacher can then mark them and give you some feedback. That's all for now. Bye.